That exact area that you're looking at is now under a flash flood watch. This was nothing but dirt yesterday. Now look at it. It's a blanket of white. The snow has fallen. As we have a big dip in that jet stream, it's returning that onshore flow which goes into the Bay Area. One thunderstorm that is beginning to strengthen just a little bit as it heads towards the city of Corning and towards Las Molinas. Still in the 90s for Chico, but we could hit the triple digits once we get into Labor Day weekend. Well, guys, it's hot out here, it's sunny, and it's Labor Day. I hope you're enjoying the day with your friends and family going grilling or maybe going for a swim. And on top of all of that, we're going to have very strong wind shear. So what is wind shear? Whenever the wind speed changes with height in the atmosphere or changes direction, that's wind shear. Notice the green, which is kind of air going towards the radar, and red, air going away from the radar. That indicates rotation in the atmosphere, and that rotation was strong enough to form a tornado. The second time in history that hurricane season has had to move to a Greek alphabet. See all that smoke behind me? That's coming from the Bear Fire. Right now, I am in Forbestown. Sweaters, you know, they always put me in a good mood. That's for sure.
Well, we may be in fall already, but it is still pretty hot out there as we wrap up our work week here.
Yeah, plenty hot. We could use some cooler temperatures and definitely some rain. Here's Bryan Ramsey with our forecast.
Yeah, that's right. And we have both possibly in that forecast. That goes with the cooler temperatures, maybe some rain. But for now, we're still dealing with smoky skies and unfortunately some pretty warm temperatures out there. I have a live look towards Mount Shasta. You can barely see the mountain from this camera. This camera is actually located in the town of Mount Shasta looking towards the mountain. And it's very difficult to make out because of how smoky it is out there right now. But if you could see the mountain, notice only a few little white specks on it. Otherwise, no snow is on that mountain. So almost all of it has now melted. The air quality looking very unhealthy in parts of the Central Valley right now because of that smoke that you just saw on the camera. And then very unhealthy air also visible in parts of Trinity and southern Siskiyou County. But moderate air quality continues in Red Bluff, Redding, and almost good air quality in many locations in parts of the Sierra, which is good news. That will change over the next few days as winds shift on Sunday and Monday. Look at the current conditions right now. 95 degrees in Redding. You were at 99, so you're beginning to cool off a little bit in Redding. Chico and Orville sitting at 91 degrees at the moment. As for those overnight low temperatures, we're going to be getting into the 60s tonight in the valley, maybe even some 40s in the Sierra, so getting much cooler in the Sierra Mountains tonight. And then highs tomorrow, going to be possibly in the triple digits, maybe the upper 90s in the North Valley, and then mid to low 90s in the Central Valley due to smoke cover keeping you a little cooler, and 80s across many of the mountain regions, maybe a few 90s as well in that forecast. In the future forecast, here's what's really exciting, so watch very closely. Right now we got a high pressure system sitting directly over us that's going to keep us warm. By next week, Monday, Tuesday, another high moves over us, possibly warming us up again on Tuesday, but it weakens on Wednesday and Thursday. As it weakens, this low pressure system really begins to drop. It's a trough of low pressure. It's out in the Pacific, way out there in the ocean on Friday. But once we get to Saturday, that's when it begins to move inland. You see this associated cold front with that system, and that could bring us possible showers and maybe even some heavy rain in the mountains on Saturday and Sunday. It really just depends. It's pretty far out, so it's hard to tell. So I want to show you, kind of break it down for you, show you two different computer models, weather models that us meteorologists look at in the long-term forecast. So this is the GFS model, the America model. This is put out by the National Weather Service, and it's giving us a good chance of rain on Saturday and on Sunday. But as I take you to the next model, another very reliable weather model, this is the European model. Still pretty reliable, but it doesn't give us much rain. So once we get to Friday, we're looking at nothing. Once we get to Saturday, you see that rain falling in Trinity County and Siskiyou County, but that's about it. We're not seeing any rain in the valley or the mountains. So it's still very uncertain. Every single time these models update, these numbers are changing just because it's so far in the future. So don't get your hopes up yet for rain. But whether we see rain or we don't see rain, we're still going to see increased cloud cover with this system and much cooler weather on the way as we approach next weekend. So that is still pretty exciting. And again, fall is coming up. Tomorrow is Look at the Leaves Day, or so they call it, because the leaves are finally beginning to change colors out there. A high of 95, though, still for tomorrow. But again, we will be cooling as we get into next week. So let me show you that 7-day forecast. It is pretty exciting. Low 90s over the next few days. It's very smoky, unfortunately. Hopefully that smoke can clear out some later next week, but we do get in the low 80s by Thursday and Friday with some increasing clouds as we go into your weekend. As for Redding, a high of 99 degrees for tomorrow. Low 90s by Sunday, but back up into the mid 90s for Tuesday as that high pressure system moves back over us. But that big low pressure system I just showed you moves back in the area near us on Thursday and Friday, and that will cool us down again near the end of next week. If it happens, you'll see that ember traveling across that fire break and actually catching the other side of the fire break on fire. In fact, in the Shasta County, you can see snow falling all the way down to 2,500 feet, so that will make hazardous travel on I-5. I am baking out here. You don't believe me? Look at this skin. It's red, yeah, I know. It's usually red, but not this red. It does look like that rain is beginning to move into the west part of the valley. You have to head out in your overnight hours. You're still going to need that umbrella outside. We are still seeing completely wet conditions. We'll just have to do our little rain dance and hope for it.
Was that it?
Yeah, that was my rain. But was that not
Can we
impressive?
get an encore performance of that?
I thought it was impressive.
An encore performance? Again?
No, you
Are we
didn't
worn
like
out
it.
here?
You didn't like it.
We're worn out here.
You didn't like it.
Should we move on?
You didn't like it.
I don't like deviled eggs. I liked your rain dance.
I'm offended. We're going to see a low pressure system making landfall in Canada. A big cold front attached to it, that jet stream dipping. That means cold weather, windy weather, and wet weather for Northern California Tuesday through Thursday.
We need to watch the wind event very closely.
Yes, this is critical. This is serious. It could get very dangerous if a spark catches and a fire grows. Live look at Mount Shasta Ski Park. You can see the snow is really coming down out there. We do have several thunderstorms still moving through the area. You see all these little white dots. Those are little lightning icons. Power of Mother Nature is awesome and terrible, and has been brought to bear in this small community of Butte Valley.
Our daughter Amy was here, and she said that it was kind of a normal, big time thunderstorm like we get, and she thought it was pretty neat, and raining really hard.
Can you see how fast the clouds are moving?
This strong thunderstorm swept through Butte Valley on Wednesday, a rural community between Concow and Oroville in Butte County. A tornado touched down just after 2 p.m., but a tornado warning was never issued for this thunderstorm.
And she said a really strong wind came up, and she happened to be within sight of this huge tree behind us, and she actually saw the roots starting to lift, and she grabbed her dog and ran to the back of the house because she thought the tree was going to hit the house. She said it lasted just seconds, like it was just over so fast.
Slickens Ranch also had fencing blown over and barn roofs taken off by the strong winds. Roof shingles from their home littered their yard as the tornado ripped across the landscape. Damage that I discovered on scene, as indicated by the red dots on this map, showed the tornado tracked for at least 2 miles. Spring Valley Elementary was also brushed by the tornado. The children remain safe and the building undamaged. So, given what we know, just how powerful was this tornado? Well, the National Weather Service is going with an EF1 rating for now. But only an EF2 tornado could carry a car 20 feet in the air. And this is exactly what we saw. Incredible winds either lifted or rolled a car 20 feet. What was once parked in the very spot that I am standing somehow ended up all the way over here.
I didn't really realize that there was a tornado happening. There was thunder, there was lightning, but I was in my office on the other side of the house, and I didn't really notice anything. The power went out. My son came into my office and said, "Mom, the power's out," and then crashed. The windows broke. And by the time we got up and walked out, there was a lot of wind still, but I didn't see a tornado. I didn't know. And then I'm looking around and I'm like, what in the world happened? Josiah's car moved. I don't understand.
Residents in the area tell me it will be much more difficult to get help from the insurance companies in the area ever since the Camp Fire happened a few years back. Reporting in Butte Valley, meteorologist Bryan Ramsey, Action News Now, coverage you can count on.